We got some big news out of the House of Representatives today, folks. Texas Democrat Jasmine Crockett just announced she is running to be ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. Folks, there are rising stars, and then there's Jasmine Crockett. Look, she's a Democrat from Dallas, Texas, and Jasmine's fearlessness in calling out Trump and her Republican colleagues has set a new tone in the Democratic Party, and I love it. I love it. She inspires other Democrats to find their voices in this area. And for Jasmine Crockett, that means occasionally cussing in public because, fuck it. And it drives Fox News absolutely bonkers when she does. Let's take a look.
Somebody slap me and wake me the up because I'm ready to get on with it.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off.
All of this obviously leads to the question of who voted for Jasmine Crockett.
Who voted? By the way, she was in a very fielded primary and she took over 50% of the vote and did not have a runoff for whoever that guy is, if he needs a reminder. But I'm also pretty sure that the good folks of Texas's 30th district know exactly who they voted for. All right. And they're proud as hell of Jasmine Crockett's leadership, holding the Trump administration to account from her seat on the House Oversight Committee. Now, I cannot overstate how big a deal it would be if Jasmine Crockett became ranking member of that committee. Now, let me read from her press release here. In this moment, Americans are demanding a more strategic, aggressive, and energetic fight. I couldn't agree with that more, as you know. Our country is in an existential crisis driven by an out-of-control executive with a flagrant disregard for our Constitution, our way of governance, and our very way of life as citizens of a democratic republic. The administration has refused to respect congressional authority, abide by lawful judicial orders, or respond to public outrage. The magnitude of these unprecedented times warrants a resistance in tactics never seen before. Couldn't agree any more with that. I mean, spot on. We must pull back the curtain on the unmitigated chaos under Trump 2.0 and translate our findings to the American people in a way that they can digest. That is key. And clearly, she is one of the few Democrats that truly understands that. Now, tell me, after reading that, is that the kind of leadership you want from Democrats in Congress? Because it's exactly what I'm looking for and exactly what Democrats need right now in this very moment. All right. The House Oversight Committee holds the primary responsibility of investigating fraud and corruption in the federal government. And with Jerry Connolly's passing, Democrats need a strong voice like Jasmine Crockett's to lead the charge in investigating the most corrupt presidential administration in American history. Now, Jasmine Crockett understands the media landscape has changed and politics has changed forever. There's no doubt about that. Being heard means being on camera and across a very expansive and changing digital universe. Many Democrats pretend to fight on a field where the game is literally no longer being played. They get owned by Trump's soundbite nastiness and the pro wrestling theatrical skills of MAGA Republicans. But Jasmine Crockett doesn't spin in circles when she's throwing a punch. Now, just watch her here, throwing the Trump administration attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion right back in their face.
Programs have seen limited success because many companies who committed to providing broadband went into default after radically underestimating their cost. It doesn't say anything about diversity. And the final thing that I will say
is that this costs have increased?
I didn't ask you a question. The final thing that I will say is that this election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
I love the way as she is literally dropping the mic, she's also just organizing all her shit and getting ready for whatever's next. Look, I'm struck each time I hear Jasmine speak about Republican efforts to undermine diversity, equity, and inclusion in this country. Rather than reflecting on their privilege and working to extend opportunities, Republicans in my demographic love to blame our country's challenges on the lack of a white man in charge of literally everything. Our country needs more leaders like Jasmine Crockett who don't back down and don't apologize for telling the truth. All right. Now, critics accuse Jasmine and other vocal Democratic women like AOC of raising the temperature in an already contentious political climate. Laughable. Look, let them say that. Folks, I would be thrilled if Democrats would be called out for being mean to MAGA. What more can we ask for? It's not even a lot. These assholes are literally ripping up the Constitution and locking people up without due process, and sternly worded letters are just pissing everyone the fuck off. It's about time Democrats lit some fires under some asses. Jasmine Crockett gets it. And she is precisely the type of next generation leader that we need sitting atop important committees like oversight. Now, I'm not someone who endorses folks for stuff like that, and I don't have a vote. But what I will say is do not sell Jasmine Crockett short or take her for granted. Leave that to legacy media. They write off the increasing importance of viral digital content. They say social media isn't the real world, so it can be dismissed. It's true that America isn't entirely represented on any one platform. Gen Zers aren't exactly avid 60-minute watchers, right? But look, Americans are using a growing number of outlets for their news and entertainment. Increasingly, that's online and from creators on Substack and YouTube. Jasmine Crockett understands we must find folks wherever they are, and she cuts through the noise, nonsense, and negativity. Now, I'm going to be paying close attention as Democrats decide who to lead the oversight committee. This is a critical job, one that needs to go to a Democrat who truly will bring this administration to account for the American people. I am so excited that Jasmine Crockett has put her name in the ring for this position. We need as many Jasmine Crockett's in Congress as we can get.